This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, hello there. It's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, August 23rd in the year 1947, the Little League World Series debuted and got to its final. So, there's a lot of stories about the Little League World Series. It was actually named the National Little League Tournament. And the first time this series happened was 1947 in South Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And the games are played at Howard Lamont Stadium and Volunteer Stadium. Initially, teams from the U.S. competed in this series. And it was a worldwide tournament. In the U.S., games from the Little League World Series and even regional tournaments are broadcast on ESPN. The United States looked pretty good, although from 1969 to 1991, Taiwan brought 15 titles out of 23 years. And of course, it was Taiwan's effort to combat its perceived diplomatic isolation around the world. But Taiwan would cheat and would work their players very hard and all that. In the early 2010s, Tokyo would be the main hotspot for Little League World Series winners, winning 5 titles. So anyway, there are a lot of things that have happened and all that. So the first ever tournament in 1947 was a 3-day tournament where the Maynard Midgets of Williamsport beat Lock Haven, Pennsylvania's All-Stars 16-7. So in 1947, the board of directors for the original Little League decided to organize a tournament for the 17 known Little League programs. So it was amazing. 2,500 people watched the final game. There were many. There were 4 Williamsport teams. And then there were teams from Newbury, Pennsylvania, Montoursville, Montgomery, Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania, Milton, Perry County, Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, and then one from New Jersey, Hamilton, New Jersey. There were a lot of key matchups here. But Maynard, who were ranked number 4 by the organizers, beat the Jersey Shore team, the Brandon League, Newbury, and then beat Lock Haven to win the competition. That's like fantastic. So anyway, there were a lot of things to do with Little League World Series and all that. If you read the original story about how the Little League came through, it's kind of weird because the original guy was basically forced out by management, and they wanted to micromanage Little League World Series teams and all that. So here's how it works. In the summer months leading up to the Little League World Series held in August, Little Leagues around the world select an all-star team made up of players from its league. They compete in district, sectional, and regional tournaments, trying to get to Williamsport. In the U.S., some states use pool player double elimination, others use single elimination. There are a lot of sectional tournaments that advance to a state/divisional tournament and all that. A handful of states could be of one district because, the smaller states. So every state crowns a state champion and sends that team to represent it to one of 8 regional tournaments. California and Texas don't. They're already in and all that. And also they both send 2 teams, Northern and Southern California in the West, and Texas East, Texas West in the Southwest. So anyway, the state champions do the 8 regional tournaments. Now they're 10 because in 2022 they've added more tournaments. And then each regional winner goes to the League World Series for the U.S. regions and all that. Other countries and regions pick their own way. Canada, for example, hosts tournaments at the provincial and divisional level to field 6 champions, 4 provincial and 2 divisional. They would be Alberta, Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia. Those 4 provinces send a team. The Prairies and the Atlantic provinces send one guy. They use the page playoff format for the League World Series. So anyway, the regions as of the 2022 tournament are this. The Great Lakes region with Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky. Metro is Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island. Mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. District of Columbia and Delaware. Midwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin. Mountain, being Nevada, Missouri, Utah, and Wyoming. New England is New England, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Virginia. Vermont, but Northwest. Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. Southeast, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee. The Southwest is Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas East, Texas West, Oklahoma, Colorado, New Mexico. And the West is Arizona, Northern California, Southern California, Hawaii. Just 4 states. Well, anyway, in Canada, there are 8 international divisions, which provide 10 teams to the international side. Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico will receive automatic bids to the League World Series on a rotating basis. 2 of them receive a bid, and the other has to play through a regional tournament. If Cuba or Puerto Rico are left out, they'll have to play through the Caribbean region, and if it's Panama, they have to go through the Latin American region. So, so you got Asia Pacific and Middle East, Australia, Canada, Caribbean, Europe and Africa, Japan, Latin America, Mexico, Puerto Rico. So the tournament format had, this year, 2022, now have 20 teams, 10 for the U.S., 10 from other countries. The inaugural 47 to 56 tournaments, there were U.S.-based teams, 8 in a single elimination format. However, Canadian teams got in as early as 1952. Regions were introduced in 57, and Monterrey, Mexico represented the U.S. South region. And then by that time, in 1958, they decided to put international regions, and that Canada could qualify as their own team. And from 1962 to 2000, there were 8 teams. The United States had Central, East, South, and West, International Canada, Europe, Far East, and Latin America. And through 75, that all teams competed in one bracket. And then they decided to put 2 brackets in 1976. One of the U.S. teams, one of the international teams, guaranteeing a U.S. versus world final. In 2001, they added more regions. They doubled it 16. So you got 8 U.S. teams and 8 international teams. They did round robin play till 2010, but they decided to use the double elimination bracket in each 14 pool. And each team were guaranteed 3 games. Even though you could go 0-2, they would be playing in a consolation U.S. versus international game. And then the pools were being eliminated in 2011, with the 8 teams continuing to be in one bracket and the international teams in another bracket. So it was 8-on-8 for double elimination. So anyway, you had the stadiums and all that. Admission to all Little League World Series games is free for all spectators. Age requirement, you have to be 13. All that. Girls of the tournament usually don't happen, but for the past 3 Little League World Series that have happened, 2019, 2021, 2022, things would happen. There have been at least one. Monet Davis is one of 2 girls famous for being in the tournament. From Philadelphia, she had that killer fastball and all that. However, the other girl was not that famous in baseball circles. Well, it was Chrissy Wendell, but Chrissy Wendell would soon become the star goalie? No. One of the best goal scorers in U.S. women's history. She represented Minnesota. So anyway, the Little League World Series went through some big changes. In 1952, Montreal managed to advance to play into the Little League World Series, becoming the first international team to do so. 1955 saw the first walk-off home run in the championship game as Rich Kaminsky of Pennsylvania did it in the 7th inning. Well, they played 7 innings. Montreal became the 3rd team outside the U.S. to compete, but the first not from Canada, but they won the tournament. And the pitcher threw a perfect game. That's the next year, 1958. The opportunity to have international teams compete. In 1970 was the last time the All-U.S. Championship Final happened, other than 75 and 2021 for obvious reasons. In 1971, Lloyd McClendon, yes, manager Lloyd McClendon, if you will, hit 5 home runs and 5 official at-bats in 3 games. He was intentionally walked everywhere else, every time. In 1975, the international teams were banned because of Taiwan using the out-of-district players and their boot camp techniques. So basically, one bad apple spoiled the whole bunch. So they were allowed to compete in 76, but they changed it that the U.S. and non-U.S. teams would play on different sides of a bracket. In 1982, Kirkland, Washington beat Taiwan. It snapped the streak of 31 straight wins by Taiwan teams. And Jim McKay said it was the biggest upset in the history of Little League. In fact, it made it 30 for 30. That was huge because Taiwan would cheat. Long Beach went back to their championships in 93, although the first championship in 1992 was given to them because the Philippines used out-of-district players. Can't do that. Hawaii's Michael Mahmea helped Hawaii win the championship in the 7th inning. Dalton Carricker of Georgia did that to walk-off home run to win the title. Uganda became the first team from Africa to play in the tournament. The state of New York team in 2016 won the championship, beating South Korea for the championship, thus ending Korea's streak of Little League World Series championship wins. Well, when they play in the finals, they did it. 2020 tournament was canceled for obvious reasons, COVID-19, and then in 2021 they decided to restrict it to U.S.-based teams because of the COVID pandemic. But this year they've done much better. So yeah, Chicago was stripped of the U.S. championship in 2014 because they used out-of-district players, and a lot of people were thinking that it was racism because the white coach of a team that got taken down by the Jackie Robinson All-Star team, who got pasted by like 20 runs, was the one who bitched and whined and all that. So anyway, yeah. The Little League World Series had a lot of great players. Great people from other sports win the title. You got Wilson Alvarez, Jason Bay, Derek Bell, Cody Bellinger, Sean Burrows, Michael Conforto, Todd Frazier, Randall Grichuk, Carney Lansford, Lance Lynn, Jason Marquis, Lloyd McLennan, Yusmiro Petit, Boog Powell, even Colby Rasmus, Michael Saunders, Gary Sheffield, Jonathan Scope, Ruben Tejada, Jason Veritek, and Dan Wilson. Some famous NFL players have even played. Matt Castle, he played in '94 for California. Jake Fromm with Warner Roberts, Georgia in 2011. Brian Sipe, 1961 with California. NHL stars, 4 NHLers. Chris Drury played for the 1989 College World Series champion, Little League World Series champion, Turnbull, Connecticut. Ray Ferraro played for British Columbia in 1976. Stéphane Matteau and Pierre Turgeon both played for the 1982 team in Rouyn-Noranda, Quebec. Danny Amante, Moni Davis, Austin Dillon even played. Austin Dillon was the nationwide NASCAR champion 2013. He played for the 2002 North Carolina team. Yeah, Moni Davis doing pretty well for herself. Danny Amante, unfortunately, his run with the team at Bronx got himself in trouble because of his father doctoring his documentation. And because Amante couldn't speak English that well, he was cleared. So yeah, so ABC would cover the Little League World Series and all that. So yeah, it does all that. So yeah, the Little League World Series is one of the best around. And don't you forget it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.